bit.
We decided to get some help this time.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot to get into, a lot of different elements on the pitch, off the pitch. So we can't do this alone, can we?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that watches Serie here in North America, here in the United States, this man needs no introduction. He's earning his first ever cap with the Serie sit down. English-speaking Calcio's favorite pundit, the one, the only, Matteo Bonetti. Ciao, Matteo.
Ciao, Matteo.
How you doing, Frank? I already sent over the blank check, so I expect to see a bunch of zeros on it.
Hey, let me tell you something right now. It's over for you. This is it. This is the resume topper. It's not getting any better.
I have to say, I'm impressed. The production quality, top notch. I love the music. You guys are looking good in the studio. Richard, you're the most Italian person I've ever seen in my life. Like, look at that. Look at that face. If I saw you walking down the street and I saw that hair and I saw that mustache, I'd be like, this guy's 100%. I know it. I can smell it. I know what you smell like already. I can smell the leather. I can smell a bit of coriander. I'm loving everything.
Oh my gosh. So far. Oh my gosh. You are certainly our Fratesi of the show for tonight. Going to lead us to victory here tonight, but a lot to get into, Frank, huh?
Yeah, there is. 2 minutes in, and this podcast is already off the rails. So
as expected.
So, you know, I think that before we get into some of the topics that we want to cover with you, Matteo, let's just give you the floor. Just kind of take us on a journey how you got to, because it was a grind for you all your career to get to where you are right now, with Paramount Plus. Maybe, share what you can here with our listeners and what it took, and, and maybe some sacrifices if you want to, but share a little bit with us, because you do it you did it the hard way, and you did it the right way. And it's certainly good to see the success that you're having.
I really appreciate that intro, man. So I graduated from college and I was going to go into marketing and advertising. That's what my major was. I had no idea what I wanted to do. At the time, I wrote a blog for ESPN. I was the Milan guy, blogger. It was unpaid. I didn't make a cent from it in 4 years, but it was, for me, it was something that just helped me get my college. Basically, I had to complete, hundreds of hours to get my degree at an actual job. And I said that, hey, this is my job to watch games, write about it. So it helped me get my degree. And I thought, right, this is invaluable. So I'll leave it at that. And then I go back to Miami, where I'm from, and I'm sitting at home and I'm applying for jobs. And one of my friends, Massimo Marianello, who's a family friend, he's one of the lead commentators for Sky Italia, he told me, hey, by the way, the Serie rights are going to be in sports. And I was like, what the hell is be in sports? And I look into it. I see that someone that I follow mutually, Phil Shane, who's a commentator on Twitter, announced that he was going to be in sports. So I sent him a DM. I'm like, hey, what's be in sports? Can you, I don't have a job right now. Do you think you could get me in? He's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And the boss, I got in touch with him. One thing led to another, and they hired me as a production assistant, which was minimum wage. It was a job that for me was great because I was living at home. I didn't really have any expenses other than my car lease. So minimum wage, I was making $2,000 a month. Actually seemed awesome when you haven't made a cent your whole life. And after about a year of that, I remember that they were down like 6 or 7 people on air. There was a sickness going around. I think most of them had the flu. And they said, hey, Matteo, we know you did that blog. How would you feel about commentating a game? We'll give you a trial. And I was nervous about it. I was like, nah, I can't do this. I'm an ex-player. Like, I thought I was doing play-by-play. And they're like, no, we need you to do the color role. So I was like, okay, guys, I'll give it a try. But just so you know, like, this isn't normally how it's done. Like, where I'm from, if you're doing that position, you're either an ex-coach or an ex-commentator. So I did the trial. It went well. I just said, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to make it like a super fan's perspective. Kind of thinking of, in my mind, Bill Simmons from ESPN, who at the time I really loved his columns. Yeah. I thought that was how I would want to show off my personality and just cover it and be lighthearted and try to make stupid jokes on air. And they loved it. And I haven't looked back since. My first ever game was Torino against Roma. It was Ciro Immobile and Alessio Cerci. This was the 2013-2014 season, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
And ever since then, I've been calling games every single week. So that's how it started. And Yeah, I think it's not even the right way, but it is a way that allows you to appreciate what you do, and you never really have an ego. And I still go in the control room and I speak to all the producers, because I remember I was once the guy bringing the coffee to the people on air. I was once the guy doing the menial tasks, writing the shot sheets, which lets the broadcasters know in the highlights what's coming up next. So I did start from truly the bottom, and I think it's helped me because I understand TV a lot better because of it.
Wow.
Well, as far as, I mean, because the color roll, and I love the I love the super fan experience that you mentioned here, but certainly there's got to be, you know, some hints of analysis. Who did you tend to lean on? And because there were plenty of good people there at beIN Sports, and certainly there's good people at Paramount Plus as well. Who do you lean on to just kind of get the expertise when you're looking at how to break down games and how to break down what's going on for the viewer to understand?
That's a great question. So it was more that I would watch Italian coverage every week with my dad. I didn't watch Serie in English really until I got to beIN Sports. We'd always have some crappy feed. I would watch Rai International, which at the time had. So I wasn't even really that familiar with how Americans called soccer, because I never listened to commentary in English. So I think it was more a fact of knowing some people that were ex-players, talking to them, but then trying to get coaching badges, trying to learn everything I can, reading the thesis of the managers who come out of Coverciano, just trying to really dig deep and learn as much as you can, watch as much as you can, try to really understand as much as you can, while also having the humility of knowing that I'll never be able to say, in my experience, being in that moment. So what I've learned is you don't even have to try. My goal is, can I give more than the average fan knows at home? I feel like I've gotten at a level where I hope I can do that. And ESPN validated that position. Now CBS did. So when ESPN validated it and said, no, you can be a color guy here, I was like, okay, no, I can. There is a space for X non-players to do this. And, you know, it's kind of normal in the Spanish-speaking language, like in Latin culture, South American, the way they cover, they usually have journalists as color commentators, and then sometimes the next player too. It has never happened, as far as I know, in Italy. They sometimes just have one commentator do both roles, and that's as far as you'll get as a non-ex player giving his tactical opinion.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent.
Awesome. That's awesome insight. Awesome insight.
It is.